Grand Rising Cancer. Hello, welcome. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Ashley Indigo, fellow Cancer. I'm here to help you see what you can't see, hear what you can't hear, and feel what you can't feel. Today, Cancer, we are going to be doing the December monthly energy reading. Very excited to get into this because it's kind of like a little personal reading for my own, but I'll try not to keep it too personal. I'm very excited to dive into this. This is the last month of the year, so chapter 2021 is almost done, the year of letting go, and we are moving into chapter 2022, which is, if we add all the twos together, 6. We get 6 energy. It's all about self-love. It's all about growth. It's all about authenticity, getting closer to the soul, aka the higher self, because as I've explained previously, if you've watched any other videos or if you haven't, 6 stands for getting closer to the higher self. The higher self is the inner child in us, which I would like to equate to about 3-4 years old. I use 3 because 3 is a magical number, but it's the inner child. So we definitely want to get clear. Next year, we're going to be craving authenticity. No more fake shit. For us Cancers, no more people pleasing. You know, maybe I'm partial because I'm a Cancer, but I consider us to be one of the kinder signs, one of the signs that has a bigger heart. And I think the fact that we don't too much. Now, this is just, if you know your sun and your rising, it might show up other ways. But a Cancer's personality trait, which is what the sun circles around, is not really caring for confrontation. So we like to we sometimes, we're nice because our heart's just big, and sometimes we're nice because we don't want the confrontation. And we're generally people pleasers, but now, a lot of you maybe this year, I know that I've stepped my fucking game up and I've made it about me, and I've learned to match frequencies. I've learned to let go of the little, the pinchers that we have. I've learned to let go. I've taking care of the 5 energy from 2021 as best as I can. Still got a few more things to let go. It's a process. Be patient with yourself, but we're definitely moving into 6 energy. I'm excited. We're going to get into it. Normally, the decks of cards that I use is I'll use like my Lightseers deck, which, I really resonate with that one, and then I use my Loving Words of Jesus, aka Yeshua deck. If somebody doesn't know Jesus' real name's Yeshua, another video, you can always, we have to do the extra research ourselves to really put the pieces together. Seek and you will find, Matthew 7:7. And I am, today I'm going to be using these 2 decks. What reader doesn't have multiple decks? I offer multiple readings. If anybody wants anything of the sort, you can always look down in the description box. It'll have information to get in contact with me, or if you have any questions, an email, all my social media accounts, and pricing for the things that we do offer. If money is an issue, because it's not all about money for me, if money is an issue, you can send me an email and we can try to work something out, if that's something that you're wanting to do. And, I do understand things are going on. I do understand, hit me up. We can work some things out. Okay. So, the first deck I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using the Psychic Tarot deck. Now, if you've been along this ride with me, I read numbers, I read pictures, I read colors, I read imagery, I read anything that can be read. With this deck dives into that in totality. We've got numbers, colors, imagery, so many things to look at. So I love to do that because I can really get into a lot of detail with something like that. I read that way anyway, but this deck's set up like that. And then we do an angels and ancestors. We all have angels. When we come here, God equips us with angels, guardian angels. As our loved ones pass and they ascend and they turn into angels, they guide us. And then we have ancestors. I mean, me, for instance, I'm walking around, I've got Indian in me, I've got Filipino in me, I've got Japanese in me, I've got an 8% Irish in me. Obviously, I have West Ivory Coast African in me. I mean, I'm a mixture, you know what I'm saying? And, because my lineage, it's not very clear for me that goes back. I have hella ancestors. We all do that I don't know. They damn sure know me, though. Just like your ancestors damn sure know you. And, when we think about history and how much has this changed, especially if we're anybody of color, you know what I mean? A lot of our lineages is not clear. And sometimes, a lot of our ancestors, depending on who it was, I mean, it wasn't just colors, the Irish had their struggles, the Jew, depending what that is, We have people to owe to. Their DNA travels inside of us. It's in us. And when we heal, not only do we heal the DNA in front of us, our children, our grandchildren, if we have any, we heal the lineage before us, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, the great-great-grandparents. Every day we make a choice in this life. Every day we make a decision. We're balancing the scales of the lives and the ancestors that came between us, because God says whatever choice you make, it's going to affect your children, your children's children, and your children's children's children. And I think that we need to get a better understanding and a better concept of what that means when we're making our choices, okay? So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to get the Psychic Tarot deck. I'm going to go ahead and pull 3 out of this one. Okay, y'all know my numbers are symbolic, but if this is the first time that y'all have been with us, 3 is the age of the inner child, and 3 is all about action, not just being about it, not just talking about it, but being about it, making sure that the things you think line up with what you say, line up with what you do. It's the ultimate energy of accountability, and God, he holds his people accountable. And I would think that because you're here, A, you're one of God's people, B, you're curious about that guy named God, or C, you just stumbled upon it, and now you're here. But because nothing happens for a reason, it's not a coincidence, so you might as well hang in tight, Cancer. Come on. Oop. All right, there we go. 2 cards hopped out right off the top. Boom, boom. Oop. Okay. 1. Okay. Dude, you can never make this shit up, dude. You can never make it up. The reason I say that is because one of the cards that I pulled, I was messing around with the cards, and I thought to myself, oh, you know what? I just need to move on from a situation. Boom, bam. And then this card came out. So I know we're right in alignment, and I know this is a reminder to myself. So let's get into it, okay? The 6 says, moving on. Okay? In the border of this card, this is the minor arcana. So the border of this card is emotional. Oh, okay. This card is emotional. Let's see, based off the mental. Okay. So 6, it has that number again. That's all about connecting to the higher self. That's all about self-love. It's all about growth. We just talked about it. That's the year that we're moving into. It's very symbolic because if you see this man, it's dark back here, okay? The light is shining forward. And I personally, I would equivalent that to like the light shining right here. God's grace, okay? We're moving into a new season, okay? Not even just figuratively, but literally. We're moving into the winter. It's a new season. This guy has a watch in his hand, and the card to me says that time is on our side, okay? It's time to move on. Everything that has kept you back, everything that has kept you feeling held back, everything that has kept you tied down, everything that has kept you bogged down, we're so tired of that shit, okay? And that's what I was just saying. A lot of us, Cancers, we're not good at letting go. We're not good at letting go of relationships. That's been the struggle of my life, letting go of love relationships. We're not good at letting go of friendships. We're very nostalgic people. So, and we care a lot about like security and feeling safe. That's what our shell represents. That is what our shell represents. Our shell represents, us liking to be to ourselves, feeling secure, feeling safe. We're growing. We're growing. 6 is the growth, especially the leaves all around. Well, you can't really see probably, but there's leaves all around this person. We're growing out of a lot of things, moving in towards a new season, moving into a new season. It's something, I think the watch indicates the time. It's something that it's taken us to do, and we've had to work very hard on our mentality. I feel like where we're normally an emotional sign and where we normally just feel things out, I feel like we've had to practice emotional intelligence. So I feel like we've had to, instead of just acting out emotionally or becoming an emotional mess, and I feel like that's any water sign really, but We're really gushy on the inside, like, for real. That's why we're in a shell. We don't want no problems. We don't want no shit. But at the same time, it's almost like being in our shell for so long, and being in our shell has kept us stuck, has kept us from progressing, has kept us from being the person that God intended us to be. I think for the longest time, a lot of us just didn't feel safe, like, on our own. We just didn't feel safe because of maybe an unbalanced root chakra, maybe some things in the childhood that just made us feel safe. Maybe at later on a point in life, we realized, like myself, like, hey, it was never anything I thought about. I never thought about safety, but when I sat down and talked to myself, and I did the work, I've done so much work on myself, so much inner work, so much energy work, so much mental work, which is what this represents, the mental. That there were some things that I've had to let go of, and I felt in my soul like I'm a different person. It's time for me to move on from a lot of shit, but this is just confirmation. It's time to move on. We are moving away from the old into the new. We're letting doors close, chapters end, and we're coming into the new. It is guaranteed to us. Let me tell you something. The walk with God, the walk with Yeshua, it's never an easy walk, okay? It's always something that we don't believe we're good enough for. Not just that's any sign. It's always something that we as humans don't believe we're good enough for. Because we're taught at some point in time that having a relationship with God requires a set of rules. And if you're not perfect in these set of rules, He doesn't have a relationship with you. What would you do if I told you that you already have a relationship with God? You just don't know it because no one's confirmed it. Unless you have a very religious family, a very spiritual family, someone who has taught you to talk to God, that He is your friend, that relationship is there, and that no one can take you away from that, you won't know. It's the bullshit and the propaganda of being told that there's things that you have to do to have a relationship with Him, when that's just a flat out fucking lie. It's a lie. You have a relationship with Him because you come from love. It's the being born into sin. It's the learning the earthly ways that cuts you off from your divinity. Okay? Nobody tells you that there's nothing you can do for God to stop loving you. The only thing that you can do is deny Him. Okay? Which a lot of society does. I won't say most, because as of January, when the changes that happened, and my energy people, my cancers, I know you know, as the changes happened, I've seen a lot of people show up for God, but I've seen more show up for Satan, and that concerns me. This is why I get on here and do what I have to do. This shit is free. I do this because it's my job to wake other people up. It is my job to make people aware of their divinity. It is my job to make sure that people are parenting consciously, not just parenting from the point of view that now I'm the one in control. I'm not the child anymore. It's my job to help parents, to help people understand themselves so much that they're so honest with themselves about who they are, down to who they are as a child on the inside, to the point that they awaken that child in them. And now not only are you, okay, not only are you being a parent from a wise perspective, but you're being a parent that can relate, because your inner child energy is assisting you in being the best parent you can be. Children are gifts, okay? And I know maybe nobody more than the Cancer, aka the mother really of the zodiac, that mothering energy, okay? It's time to move on. If you've been looking for a sign, if you've been any sign, should I let this situation go? It might not even necessarily be a person. If it's a person, you'll know, but it might be a habit. Okay. You might have to let go of a drinking problem. As Cancers, we like to drink and drug, okay? Because we're emotional and we don't like to feel. When I was 17, that's all the fuck I did because I didn't want to feel. But I had no knowledge of myself as a girl, as a black girl, as a woman, as an individual. I never knew. I had no knowledge of self. Okay. But as we move on, there's light shining. That's God's grace. So God is with you. But are you talking to him? Are you tapping in? Are you talking to God when you just need him? Or are you talking to God every day? Are you putting some respect on his name? Okay? Time is on your side. Like, there's time, but there's not time. Like, there's time for you to get your shit together. There's time for you to do the work. But there's no more time for you to rest on your laurels. It's no more time for you to doubt yourself. You know, self-love is in, doubt is out the window. Okay. Next, 7, patience and planning. Okay. Now for me, these are like 2 columns standing up, 2 podiums. And each season, excuse me, each season is showing. So we've got our, what looks like our spring, summer. We've got our fall, autumn. We've got our winter. Patience and planning, okay? Rome wasn't built in one day. That's the message that I get. Rome was not built in one day. We're in a season, you know, seasons change, okay? The Bible talks a lot about seasons. And like I said, it's not talking about seasons necessarily physically, you know, or figurative, or in actuality. It's talking about season and like the different changes, you know? Like I was in one season of my life when I was an alcoholic and a druggie. That I was in that season. That's where I was at. And from that season, what I did in that season, every time whatever you do in that season, there's always going to be fruit that bears from whatever it is that you do, from your actions. That's universal law. That's cause and effect. That's something that you can't, that's just something that just is, okay? Because there's an effect for all the actions. Whatever you do in any given season, you're going to bear fruit from that, okay? Now, I just told you, there is no more time to rest on your laurels. There is no more time to doubt yourself. We're moving into self-love, and you feel that energy anyway. Everybody's heart chakra, heart energy space is opening up. That's why you have people discussing childhoods. That's why you have people wanting to do the inner child work. That's why you have people wanting to break the generational curses. Because now the heart is expanding. It was shrunk from all the abuse, from all the psychological war, from all the things that are being done to us as individuals to keep us asleep, to keep us low, and to keep us stagnant. Our hearts were actually shrinking, like Grinch style. Like, if you've seen the Grinch movie with if you've seen the Grinch movie with Jim Carrey, fellow Cancer, you will see that they show a little picture where his heart's like shrinking or whatever because he was upset that everyone didn't bogus as hell about Christmas. Our hearts do that. They shrink and they grow, you know. And the biggest clue that they do that is the fact that they pulse. They pump blood. So you know that the heart can open up, and we know that the heart can close down. But the heart can actually grow in size the bigger it is. But we're not even just talking about the organ. We're talking about the energy space. The energetic space is opening up as we move into the 6th year. So what this means is more people are going to be doing more things than they love, like TikTok, for instance. People are having fun making content. People are no longer going to work with doing jobs that they fucking hate. People are now working out of the heart space. People are now living out of their heart space. Okay? So 7 is God's favorite number. So this means it's our time to shine, Cancer. Those big hearts that we have, it is finally time for us to be able to do what we do best. Have big ass fucking hearts. And not give a fuck about what anybody says about it. Because everybody's trying to get like us. Everybody's trying to have big hearts now. And well, we've been on this shit. We've been doing this shit. And there's rewards. There's rewards to be given. 7 is an increase in spirituality, okay? Which means our better relationship with God. And because we'll have a better relationship with God, there will be rewards. Now, I'm not saying you're going to win the lottery. Because let's take it back a step, okay? God rewards us with things that will sustain us, okay? That will help us sustain life. We are moving out of a material world. We're moving out of a material world into a spiritual world, okay? Per the sixth energy. We're moving out of that. We're moving out of things that feed the flesh. We want shit that's going to feed the soul. When we crave shit that feeds the soul, we're craving authenticity. When we crave authenticity, we're trying to be real. We're trying to be real with ourselves, okay? So that means that we're not going to tolerate the fuck boy the same. We're not going to tolerate the fuck girl the same. We're not putting up with that shit in 2022. I've been making hella posts because we're not putting up with that shit no more. No, the people with the good, we're not doing that no more. And it's not just us. There's other signs that have those big hearts, but we're the mother of the zodiac for a reason. And if we're men, you know, you can kind of equate that to the mothering, just the mothering, smothering energy. You know, the clingy. That's what the clingers are all about. The 7 tells me, be patient. God has a plan for you. He has a plan for all of us. During the quarantine, I feel like that was the best fucking thing that could have happened to us on a spiritual level. People here who didn't even know God got to know him. People who didn't know themselves got to know themselves. Motherfuckers couldn't go to the nail shop. They couldn't go to the hair shop. They couldn't go to the club. They couldn't do shit. So what did they have to do? They had to tap into that inner child energy to get creative. They had to call, hey, inner child, can you help me come up with a cool TikTok? Can you help me come up with a club scene? Because me and my dude, we're bored as fuck and we want to have a little fun. Can you help me plan that virtual online event since we can't go anywhere? We had to tap into the inner child. But see, when we did that, it was like waking a sleeping beast. You woke the heart energy. You tapped into the creativity. Now, the sacral chakras move, the orange, it's moving energy because now we're being creative, okay? Anytime we open an energy center, okay, especially the heart space, this is my belief. They'll tell you that your relationship with God, when you're straight in that, the rest of these centers will open. That's what they'll tell you. Some people say it that way, and it'll be purple down because there's hella chakra centers, but there's 7 main ones, okay? Some people say if you're firm in your root, if you feel secure, which is the bottom chakra, it's right at the bottom of the tailbone, it's red. That, you know, as you open that, it's kundalini, and it'll come up. I've been under the impression that once we open the heart space, I just realized I have a heart on here. So once we open this heart space, you see this graphic. Once we're in our heart space, once we're living, breathing, fucking working from our heart space, boom, boom, all of our motherfucking chakras start to bust open. They can't help, because the heart, it is how we create. It is how we love. It is how we're supposed to be living. Our heart was created to work with our mind. We were tricked to think that follow your head or your heart. Even the Bible says not to lean on, you can't trust your heart. You can't trust your heart alone. That's very true. You have to trust your head, and they were combined to work together. Any book, any study material will tell you that these two were combined to go together. Okay? Life is nothing but a mystery. But if you seek out the answers, He will give you the answers. We have an inner knowing, an intellectual knowing. We are plugged up at all times. You see this shit plugged up at all times. And as long as I can see that, as long as I can feel that, He is here. Where's God? I don't see Him. What do you mean? He's right here. It's right here. It's right here. He is right here. Okay, you got to understand, God is not just, we call God He because He represents a masculine energy, okay? That is why we refer to Him as He, because He represents a masculine energy, okay? That is half of the counterpart. The other counterpart is Mother Nature. Father God, Mother Nature. Because in order to be, doesn't everything have 2 parents, okay? Everything above is a symbol of everything below. Okay? God has a plan for you. He has a plan for all of us, and I just told you that. Okay? I remember a couple of years ago, he woke me up and I heard a whisper, for I know the plans I have for you. Plans to give you a life, plans to prosper you. But all I heard was, for I know the plans I have for you. And it woke me up. Woke me right up. I never thought, Cancer, that I would be where I'm at from where I've been. But I've been so honest with myself. I've been so honest with God. When I wasn't able to be honest with anyone, I was so honest with him. And he saw me through the drugs, through the alcohol, through my traumas, through my hurts, through my pains. I'm a Cancer, so don't judge me. We get a little wider yet, okay? When no one else could see me, when I was getting high with people, when I was drinking, when no one else could see me, he saw me. Woo! Telling you, I get emotional about it. He saw me. I mean, and there's 1,000 people to see. You know, I'm surrounded, I'm partying, clubbing, woo, and nobody else saw me but him. He kept it real with me. So I keep it real with him. And I keep it real with y'all. Because had I not done that, I wouldn't be here. I fucking hate public speaking. But when God tells you to speak, you speak. Just like when God tells you to be patient. When he tells you I have a plan for you. You take that and you sit with that, okay? As long as you're living out of love, as long as you're living out of purpose, Cancer, you can never be lost. Okay? It's very much given me I was lost, but now, baby, I'm found. I am found. And I'm not just found as, okay, I quit doing drugs. No, I'm found to a point where I happily identify as being a black woman. Okay? Because I know that there are certain things put in place to make not just black people, but everyone hate themselves. Social media's got bitches out here feeling body dysmorphia. Nobody's built like a motherfucking ant. Come on, okay? I'm not making fun of anybody, but I'm just saying, like, I'm all about self-improvement. But if you knew about the God body, if you knew about the body that you have as God's, if you understood that all of this was emotional attachment, I've lost about 30 fucking pounds just because my mind has changed. When my gallbladder went, when the power and control center, when it went, I got my power back. I got my control back because I had so many things going on. But the 7 is definitely confirmation that if in your season you prep yourself, you prepare, you study, you plan lightly, because you have a plan and then God has a plan, okay? God has got rewards for you, but you have to be patient. Okay? I know, Cancer, maybe you feel like I've been patient. Damn it, I've been, and I felt that way. I've been patient. But everything that I have today was the shit I prayed for 10 years ago. Okay? The situation, the heart space, the feeling of being 100% content in my body, that is something that I prayed for. Because my inner child didn't have what she needed. And that's nobody's fault. We come here to learn. I accept that. But at the same time, when I turned 18, I played around a bit. But I had a daughter by the time I was 19, and I prayed every day to be able to come out of the mess so that my daughter wouldn't end up. I didn't even know what the fucking generational curse was, but here I am praying not to have them. I'm praying to be the last, to stop it. I'm praying, I'm asking God, I don't know what it is I'm here to do. I just want to do what you want me to do. And here I am today, doing exactly what he wants me to do. I don't care what anybody says about it. I love God. I love God so much. And God loves me enough to give me the understanding that I'm here for him. I'm here to show his grace. And I don't have a problem with that because I'm not this body any damn way. It's a fine body, but I'm the one inside. I would rather people know me for the inside. It's not like, it's not about fame. It's not about money. It's not about any of that. It's about when you get to know me, you get to know God, and I'm making him happy. Okay. Get out of, now that we're out of people pleasing, Cancer, get into the mood of doing things to please God, doing things to please Jesus, doing things for Yeshua. Do it like you're doing it for Jesus, okay? If you're doing eyelashes, do it like you're doing it for Jesus. If you're taking care of kids, you work at a daycare, especially nowadays with the bullshit that's coming in, do it for Jesus, okay? Jesus won't want anything to happen to them babies. Do it like that. If you still have a 9 to 5, if you're still out here working in the world, do it for Jesus, okay? Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to appreciate you more than the one who made you, okay? Moving on. Red. I'm pretty sure that that's physical. I noticed this red color. Give me 1 second. I want to say that that's physical. Yes, it is. Okay. Take care of your body. Take care of your body. Be very careful what you put in your body. I feel like that's going to make all the difference in mood. I don't know if there's like some newer vegetarians, some newer vegans. Maybe you guys aren't as hungry as you used to be. But what I will tell you, the one thing I do want to tell you on with this 7 is when we move towards trying to fill our spirit and trying to feed our spirit, our appetite will change. The flesh won't be as hungry because you're fuller in spirit. Your body, it can only contain, the soul has, however much it weighs, and then you have the physical body. So, of course, because we can see the physical body and it's denser, it's going to weigh more. But like I said, as you fill the spirit, as you fill the mental, your physical won't be as hungry, okay? So that's normal if we've got people losing weight or appetite changing, not wanting to eat, all right? 14, this is going to be a major theme for this month, which I'm sure you got from the first 2 cards. I say that because it's black and this is usually the theme. This is the major arcana in this deck. You'll have to excuse me when I look for the different colors because I'm still learning with this deck. But like I said, when I read my decks, I'm reading them off of my intuition, off of what I feel. Okay? Patience, which we just talked about. This person has a plant in their hand and they're patiently waiting for it to grow. Okay? Mentally strong. The mindset, some things in the mind are blooming. Some things are changing. You found new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. Just slow down. I feel like there's so much you want to do because there's patience and planning on this card. I feel like there's so much that you want to do, okay? But you don't know where to start. With water signs, usually our minds are like, and there is so much we want to do, and we get so excited about all the many different things that we want to do that we don't do shit. Write down your ideas. Write more, okay? Write down things to get organized. If something new comes to your mind that you want to do, a business venture, an idea, write it down. Like in my phone, in my notepad, I have hella shit written down. But that's because my mind's always thinking. It's always moving. Now that we're practicing more emotional intelligence, we're using our brain more. It's blooming. Lots of new thoughts, lots of new ideas. We're using our brain more. And so because we're using our brain more and, we're finding balance between our emotions and our brain, which, we're not quite, we're water signs, so we're not the intellect. Our intellects are the intellects are our Geminis, our Aquariuses, our Libras. Those are the thinkers, not too much the feelers. So for them, they may be learning how to feel more, whereas we're learning, actually I know they are because I've done their reads. Learning how to feel more, whereas we're learning to be more thinkers, but we're combining our thinking with everyone's I mean, the balance here is happening for everyone as we move into 2022. That's what all the twos, if we don't add the twos together and we look at the twos stand for balance. Okay. Now 14 is on the card. So one, what we think we create. Where attention goes, energy flows. Stay consistent in your thoughts about what you would like to see come to fruition. Like I said, we're going into a new year. One is new beginnings. January, the number one is new beginnings. What I would encourage you to do, if you have a red pen, red is a good pen to use for manifestation, but you can use any pen, right? When we write, we're casting spells. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and break it down because that's the type of world we live in and people don't even know. They like to act like magic is fucking hocus pocus. Magic is real as fuck, okay? You know who does the magic? God. There are people out here who are using stolen practices to do shit they have no business doing, but we're all going to find that out later anyway. Write down everything that you want to see come to fruition for the new year. I'll write it all down, okay? And while you're writing these down, don't worry about the who, what, when, how, where, why, okay? Don't worry about that. God covers that. That's why faith is so important, because if you have faith, you don't worry about it. See, God is a God of faith, and he says to walk by faith, not by sight. That means that everything that we see, he knows everything we see on the earthly world isn't always going to equate to what's really happening behind the scenes. Have a reminder, Cancer, we live in a multi-sensory universe, not a 5-sensory universe, multi-sensory. So what that means is there are things going on behind the scenes that we can't always see. So that means even if you've been planning and you've got something going on, and even if you can't see it visually, trust that God's taking care of it in the world, in the parts of the world that you can't see. Okay? Some of you might be seeing, but he's taking care of it in that world, okay? That's what the 7 is, rewards. When God gives us a promise, baby, he don't break them promises. Never. 4 is angel protection. You are loved, you are guided, you are protected, which is perfect, because the next card that I'm going to be moving on to is an Ancestors and Angels deck, okay? 1 and 4 is 5. Let go of the need for physical proof. God is the God of miracles. God can do anything. So why do you need someone who you know can do anything to prove anything? You don't. There will try to be people around you who say little slick ass shit about what you have going on. Let them. Because when they start speaking up against you, that's Satan, because he don't like to lose. Know that that's the enemy. Get to know your God so you can know the enemy's tricks. Okay, we have to know that there's a God so that we know that there's an enemy, so that we know that. That was really weird. Maybe y'all heard that. I just heard like some random ass chimes. Okay. Get to know your God. Get to know God so that you can know the enemy's tricks. Okay. Know that the enemy's always lurking. And not even that, let go of expectation. I just posted something like this today. Man plans, God laughs. God has a plan for you. As long as you are set and you know what it is that you want. If your mind is lined up with what you're saying you want, with you doing your part. It's not about the how, what, it's just doing your part, planting that seed. The seed. God will take care of the rest, but you got to be patient, okay? Now, with that angel and ancestors energy, let's go ahead and pull a card there. I love these cards. Ooh. Woo! This is the one right here, Cancer. This is it, baby. peacekeeper. Let go of the need to be right. Okay. I'm talking to myself with this one. Oh, God, okay. Let go of the need to be right. My shorts all are riding up a little high. Okay. I see a woman here who, she's holding a peace pipe. And she has a buffalo behind her. I'm getting like Buffalo Soldier. I'm getting stand firm in your beliefs. Okay. Be strong. Stand your ground. But don't fall for the enemy's tricks. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy joy, aka peace. There are going to be people who try to ruffle your feathers. There are going to be people who try to prove you wrong. Now, Cancer, I know you got a little temper on you because I'm a Cancer. I got a little temper on me. And I resonate with this because there are so many people who try to ruffle my feathers, especially with the work that I do. But God says, blessed are the peacemakers. A peacemaker, someone who makes peace, is the same as a person who keeps peace. We have to know that the enemy is going to try to attack us, especially now that we're moving into a point of self-love. But stay in peace. I feel like there's some reefer smokers. Some reefer smokers using reefer to stay in peace. I mean, with something like marijuana, because it did come from the ground, I feel like it's all about how you use that tool, okay? You never want to do something like that while you're upset, because then what happens is you've trained your body and you've trained your system to rely on marijuana when you're upset, okay? It's very different from maybe microdosing marijuana, or I don't know what they had in the peace pipe back then, but I'm sure it was something like it. It's very, it changes the energy when you use marijuana to relax or clear your mind versus when you run to roll up a blunt because you're upset and Joe pissed you off at work. You know what I'm saying? Intention is what makes things as powerful as they are, okay? Intention is everything, because if I say the word love, okay, for instance, and my intentions are not loving, then the word love falls pretty flat, okay? I feel like we found ourselves there multiple times, Cancer, where, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, but the actions don't line up with people, and so then that word just falls flat for us, especially because we really love love. Like, we love that shit. Let go of the need to be right. People are going to challenge you. People are going to try to raise up against you. People are always going to have something to say, Cancer. Fuck them. You know you better than anybody else. Sometimes, and it was like this is my second time talking about this this week. God is so amazing. If you can look it up, Lauryn Hill did an interview. Like she used to speak, at colleges. And one thing that she spoke about was being righteous. People, very much 3D people, only care about being right. They care about proving points. Do you think that God cares about proving points? Do you think that God cares about being right? If he cared about being right, the shit that happens here wouldn't happen. God is a righteous God because everything that he does is for the betterment of everyone. There is There's a way that he would like things to be, but he doesn't sit around and just think of himself. He is righteous. So if there's 1,000 people down here who feel a way about him, yeah, that makes him feel sad. But if keeping his word is the righteous thing to do after he's given you hella opportunity to get your shit together, then stay righteous. Stay righteous. So people say so much shit to me. Sometimes I just have to eat it to stay righteous, because I would rather be righteous and have my dignity intact than be right. Now, God still is working on me in that way, because sometimes he uses the people that we love the most to fuck with us. But I've learned, especially as of this week, I don't care about being right anymore. I don't care, because my life, the way that I'm blessed, the way that I move, shows me that I'm doing my life right. It shows me that I'm moving right. I do nothing but study day in and day out. While other people are drinking, I'm studying. But I chose that. You know what I'm saying? And I encourage everybody else to choose that. I spent a whole year in the house, fucked up about some very scary things when the changes were happening to me. And the old me, the ego part of me, the Scorpio moon part of me, oh, I always want to prove motherfuckers wrong because I love it. But that's my ego. That's my shadow self. And I'm working on that. So I've learned as a Cancer, because we like to cling on to things. We like to hold on to the fucked up shit people say. We like to hold on to the fucked up shit they do. Let it go. It's too heavy. And tomorrow, 3 years, it won't matter anymore. Okay? You're not here to prove that you're right. You're here to prove to God that you are righteous and show people his righteousness through your example. Cancer, I love you so fucking much. Have a beautiful, blessed day.